Hello, it's Juliana here, and I want to talk about how horrific scalper prices have become with certain Rainbow High dolls. So I know that in my community tab and on my Instagram, I announced my Madoka Magica custom doll idea, and while I am in the process of doing the eye swap for one of them, I wanted to show one that I had to get secondhand off of eBay, and I had to hunt for a good deal for. So this one is Mini Choi. The reason I got this doll is because she looks like Madoka Kaname to me. I love her soft makeup. I love the softness of her hair color. She just matches the character's vibe and color scheme really well. So I wanted her as the base doll for Madoka. Yet whenever I was looking through eBay and Mercari listings for this doll, most of the listings were over $40. Any listings for her in box or really complete were just horrifically high priced, in the hundreds, and I ended up getting a mini who originally had some most matted hair I have seen on Rainbow High doll for $28, which, considering her original doll retailed for $50 or so, that really isn't that bad. But considering that I had to pay that much for one that was incomplete, one that is even missing some of the pearls from her outfit, it's yeah, this is probably not the most perfect mini doll ever, but again, I'm using her for a custom project because I like her face and I feel like she embodies the character that I'm going to be customizing her into really, really well. Another doll in my collection that I have seen people get really jealous of or tell me I'm really, really lucky to have that isn't a collector doll is Daphne Minton. And if you look up this doll, this is another case where, yes, she is more difficult to find than other dolls from the same line as her. Plain and simple. This one she's pretty sought after as well. And then one that I got from a seller on Instagram for a really, really lucky deal is my Lily Chang. Which, yes, this is a Lily Chang doll, real, in your face, in the flesh. And just mentioning her, I know how expensive and valuable she is. I know how possible this doll is to find. Very much at all. But the thing with Lily is she's a collector doll, and that is what separates her from every other doll I will be mentioning in this video that have the scalper pricing problem. Although I admit, it's kind of weird how Lily is really rare and really sought after and really valuable. And then you have other Rainbow High collector dolls like Roxy Grand, Jet Dawson, Maria Garcia, who are much easier to find for reduced prices compared to their original prices. Which, it feels crazy to me. It feels surreal. Like, why is like one of these dolls so sought after and difficult to find, and yet the others just aren't like that? Another doll that I know I have mentioned before is Delilah Fields. I do not have a Delilah. I don't have one of her yet. But just from looking up prices for this doll online, it's a nightmare, because every price for this doll is absolutely horrific. Like, you've got incomplete listings, like really incomplete ones, for $30 or so. You even have ones where their hair is like all like ruined or dyed or something for above her original retail price. And then you have the ones that are complete or mint in box, and it's like, those prices can like range from like $75 or so to like into the hundreds. Like, we're talking the kind of prices that like people would charge for super rare limited edition really high priced anime figures territory. And no, I don't want to like spend like anywhere above $100 on a Delilah Fields doll. Like, that's a big no-no for me. Like, and the thing with Delilah that baffles me about this too, she's a playline doll. Just like how Minnie was. Just like how Daphne Minton was. And it's like, yet their secondhand prices reflect otherwise. And then there are other dolls who have this problem, like Sabrina St. Cloud, the rest of the Royal 3, which is the doll line Minnie is from. And then you also have dolls like Joel Ritchie, where it isn't quite as bad as like Sabrina or Delilah's prices, but she's another one people will like charge more for. And Poppy. Poppy is a Rainbow High doll who only got one release since the Rainbow High rebrand that has really only been found in Europe. And like with certain Poppy releases, especially older ones, there are people charging people higher prices for them as well. It's just, yeah, these scalper prices just get terribly out of hand. And when you're just like a normal person on a normal budget who isn't like super rich or doesn't have the resources to buy $2 million at once, you kind of have to prioritize the dolls that you want the most, the dolls they care about the most, and the dolls that are most important to you, and focus on getting those. And scalper prices are just horrific on on the average collector. Because it's like, it feels horrible to have to overpay for any doll in your collection. It just doesn't feel right. And sometimes, I admit, if something's really, really expensive or something, or really overpriced and like I want it, like I'll feel guilty. Like I will feel a little guilty for spoiling myself because growing up, I wasn't always the most used to like caring about myself or how I felt as a kid, and it's like, and now I feel like nowadays I prioritize my happiness and my own mental health and things like that a lot more, but like, but like back then there were even times when I felt guilty like spending like 40 or so dollars on the newest Pokemon game just because of how expensive it is compared to how much I normally spend on myself. And nowadays I don't hold back as much. But I kind of get a similar feeling when looking at like newer Rainbow High prices with like really sought after dolls like that because it just doesn't feel fair. It feels like you're overpaying. Or it's like how like some modern Pokemon games have like additional DLC that adds things that should have been in the original game to begin with. But like you feel like it's a little expensive for what you're getting in that DLC. The DLC in modern Pokemon games really does remind me of how like with the Rainbow High doll line even if you do get really lucky finding a doll that you've been like wanting and stuff like that, even if it's an older one, good luck finding their clothes. Good luck getting one of them complete because as a lot of these dolls aren't on store shelves anymore, it's a bit more of a challenge to do that. And I admit, like, I also spent like extra money to like replace my like Storm Twins dolls outfits before as well. Because a common problem with Naomi Main is that her boots will get worn over time. And I know she's my comfort doll. I know it's partially my fault and I love her, but I will go out of my way to like either replace those boots for her or to like get another Naomi doll so she can take their boots or something like that. And then like and then also finding any Veronica dolls that have her signature thigh highs. Because like with Veronica Main, there was a time when her outfit was like getting a little faded. due to like me holding her all the time and her being like 3 years old pretty much. And like her like original socks are some of the most worn Veronica socks I've ever seen because of just you can just because just from holding them I knew the pleather was peeling, I knew it was aging, and now I mainly use them for like other dolls restyles, but yeah, I literally spent like at least like $60 to replace both N and V May's outfits because how precious they are to me. And which I know I could be putting that money into other dolls in their high line. I could be working on focusing more on completing the collection. But the thing is, like, with the additional cost, like, I don't know, I just always feel a need to take care of my girls. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the value of the dolls and their full original outfits and just how much it kind of costs us sometimes as Rainbow High collectors. And I guess I just wanted to talk about that and how like sometimes I wish that like the prices for this stuff weren't so ridiculous and some of the scalper prices on like some of the older dolls weren't so bad. So if you're like looking out for certain Rainbow High dolls, keep an eye on eBay, Mercari, whatever secondhand site you shop from. Check your Goodwills. Check wherever you can even find a good deal for them because that's kind of what we have to resort to sometimes. And I really do wish you the best of luck with finding any Rainbow High dolls that are rare or valuable that you're like seeking out and looking for. So goodbye, mysterious audience. I love you. And we appreciate you watching the channel. And I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this and you find this video informative, even if it's just me rambling about stuff again.